Kisa here, and welcome back to another video. So with this video, I want to go over what I have in store and planned for next year. Now, I know it seems a little early, being in since the season just ended, but some of my favorite places that sell seeds open shop again in November. And I've learned before that you have to kind of roll with the punches. If you go too late, they'll be out of stock of some of the best things. So I've just kind of learned that November I should probably have a pretty good solid grip on what I want to do come next spring. And that way I'm always ahead of the game. I wanted to go over what that looks like. So we're going to start with Baker Creek, and the first one on the list is the Wagner Blue-Green Tomato. I am one of those people that will grow all of the weird looking things. They intrigue me. I find them to be really interesting, and I think it's amazing that someone took the time to come up with this. Tom Wagner is the breeder of this tomato. Yeah, this is one of the tomato plants that I plan on growing next year. Up next is Vernisage, but to me it's the Vernisausage. So if you watched my tomato review, you know that I absolutely love the black Vernisausage. It was a huge hit in our household. And I'll put the link up there somewhere so you can watch it if you haven't. But they don't just sell the black Vernisausage by themselves. They sell the rainbow mix, which is perfectly fine to me. I am more than happy to try all 4 different kinds. I just hope they all taste as good as the black does. But I love the idea of the rainbow mix. I really do. So I'm excited for that one. In fact, I already purchased these seeds, so that's how excited I am. Up next is Berry's Crazy Cherries. My husband kind of picked these ones out. He said they look like lemon drops, and he loves the fact that their bunches are so prolific. I'm kind of curious to test if my hate for yellow tomatoes is broad and not just the ones that we grew last year. Because I didn't like the yellow pears, and I didn't like the sun golds, so I'm not too sure how I feel about Berry's Crazy Cherries. We'll probably have plenty of them, so I hope that they taste good. Up next is the Kiku Chrysanthemum Melon. So this is that weird melon that has a tendency to taste like Greek yogurt. And it's from Japan, so it's a win-win for me. I don't know how well it's going to do up here. It doesn't say anything about weather requirements. I'm assuming it's slightly on the warm side, to be honest, since it's a melon. But it also grows in Japan, which a lot of Japan is pretty comparable to where I am. I'm going to give it a shot. That's it for Baker Creek. The rest of my seeds are going to come from MIgardener because I do try to save money where I can, and they tend to share a lot of the same things and sometimes nowhere near. So I bounce around between the two of them. MIgardener seeds are one of the ones that won't come out until November. Okay, anyways, on request of my husband is the sweet banana peppers. He really likes them quite a bit. Then we have the pink Oxheart. I mean, it is a heart-shaped tomato. Of course, I'm going to try it. It's a 50-day to maturity, with the exception of one MI tomato and pretty much all the Baker Creek tomatoes, because Baker Creek gives you no information on growing until you get the seed packet, and even at that, it's pretty sparse. Most of my tomatoes are under 70 days because I definitely want to... I'm going to try a whole new way of tomatoes. I'm going to start them in the greenhouse sooner, keep them in there longer, and plant them out later. And see how that does for my tomato production. I mean, we did really good last year, and way better than the year before that. The year before that was pretty bad. I want to make sure that I give them plenty growing season. I want more tomatoes. I want to be greedy. I want to see more of my fruit ripen than there has been in the past. And I think I have a way to do that, so I'm definitely going to give it a try next year. And a lot of that is going to be with shorter maturity dates in hopes that they can do it. I also try to avoid large tomatoes because those take longer to ripen. But I can't say no to heart-shaped tomatoes. I mean, those look so cute. Oh my goodness. And I hope they taste good. It's not always the looks that matter, but they are definitely cute. On that note, the Japanese black Trifle tomato. I really wanted to grow this tomato last year, but for some reason I just didn't buy it. I am going to, this year, I'm going to give it a shot. So this is the exceptions on the MI's tomato list. Is this one takes 85 days to maturity, so I'm definitely going to have to be on it. But I don't know what it is about this tomato. It looks amazing. It speaks to me on a tomato level. It says, you want to eat me. And I'm going to be so sad if I grow and it tastes like tomatoes. And again, going with that whole early theme, we've got the early Cascade tomato, which is a 70-day variety, simply because supposedly these are early slicer tomatoes, which I don't really like slicer tomatoes because I don't eat them on food. I don't put them on sandwiches. I don't put them in breakfast burritos. I don't put them in omelets. I don't put them in salads. I don't eat tomatoes outside of tomato season with some salt. That's it. That is literally my tomato consumption. But the point of this is if someone comes up to me and says, hey, what's a good tomato for me to grow? I'm in zone 5. You got any ideas? I would love to be able to say, hey, yeah, this tomato is fantastic for the needs that you have. At that point, I can't do that, or at this point, I can't do that because I didn't see to just grow cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to give this one a shot, see if it's as early as it says it is, if it's something that can handle the cooler weather up here, which it says that it is cold tolerant. So then we got some yellow straight neck squash. I've just learned that I actually like squash quite a bit because I've never tried it before. And zucchini too. So last year I grew zucchini, yellow zucchini. So this year I am going to grow the squash plant. I want to try it nonetheless. On that note, I also want to try another type of squash. I don't know what it tastes like, how to cook it, what you eat, cook it with, how you eat it. It's a butternut squash, and I want to see if I like it as much as I like the yellow squash. So up next is the Shishito pepper. I wanted to try growing a mild pepper and a hot pepper. I know my husband likes it when I make his guacamole slightly on the spicier side. I suck at spicy food. I would love to try this, and I don't know. Maybe I'll lick it. To see if I can handle it. So I'm kind of interested. I've never grown anything besides bell peppers as far as peppers go. So that'll be a learning curve for me as well. This year I'm really planning on breaking out of my shell. I want to try growing a lot of the things that people say don't do well up here and that people just say I can't. So yeah, this is me sticking it to all of them. I'm going to try. And if I fail, well, then I will try again. And I will try until I succeed. Because that's just how I am. Purple Beauty bell pepper. Last year I grew a Black Beauty. This year I'm going to try the Purple Beauty. I found nothing wrong with my bell pepper. My plant did get stunted, again with the weather, much like a lot of my summer plants did. So I got an amazing amount of bell peppers off of that plant, despite it was only like a foot tall. And the darn thing gave me 10 bell peppers. They were all smushed in there like sardines, so some of them didn't get very big. But they tasted like a bell pepper. I had absolutely no complaints about it. I wasn't, raving about it either. So, yeah, I'm going to try the Purple Beauty. I'm told that I cannot grow okra up here. That it would be impossible. That is a possibility, absolutely. It very well may be the case. However, I'm a firm believer that zones should not define what you can and cannot grow. And I say that for anything that is not a perennial. Yeah, some perennial flowers will not survive in certain zones because they can't survive the winters or the extremely hot summers in certain zones. However, if a plant is not a perennial and it just needs so many warm days to grow, so long as I have those warm days, theoretically, I should be able to grow it. That is my theory on okra. And I'm going to give it a try. So I came in here and I picked out the ones that they had with the least amount of days to maturity. Clemson Spineless okra, which I didn't know okras had thorns. That's kind of interesting. So I have never had okra before. I've never had slimy, sticky, mutinous foods before. And I know that when I go to Japan, one of the first things that they're all going to want me to try is natto. I don't know how I feel about that. And sure, I could try some natto here somewhere, but I'd rather just try it there. However, I want to get a good idea of what I'm in for before I actually stick it in my mouth, and the next best way to do that is okra. If I can handle okra, then there's a good chance that I'll be able to handle natto, aside from the smell. Kosetsu came to say hello. How you doing, pretty girl? I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to smell. As far as textures go, I don't particularly think that I'll mind slimy. What I do mind is when, like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't like hard things. We take a small commercial break to love my cat. What are you doing, pretty girl? Huh? What are you doing, pretty girl? Oh, my precious Ohime-sama. Ohime-sama. Oh, my little cutie pie. You want to lay down and snuggle Mama while she does her video? Okay, so I will continue with my cat because she is cute and adorable and I'm not making her go away. Okra. Gonna happen. Gonna be my test run for natto. So I have an obsession with onions that's probably, I wouldn't say it's a little much. I love onions. I don't know what it is about them, but they taste delicious. And I think I'm the only one in my family who likes onions as much as I do. I want to try all the types of onions that fall into my little greedy hands. So the Utah yellow sweet Spanish onion. Sounds tasty. I like sweet onions the best by far, especially fried or grilled. So tasty. The next one is the ruby red long day onion. I don't really have any specific reasons for picking this. It is an onion and I will eat it and I will love it. Just another new variety to try. So last year I got the Chinese pink celery and I was really happy about it. It was pink and it was gorgeous and it was tasty and I loved it. This year, I'm going to try the pink Swiss chard, not simply because it's pink. I have never tried Swiss chard before either, so I figured if I'm going to try the weirdest one there is and get the pink, because that is just amazing, and I hope it is that vibrant. It's wonderful, and hopefully it tastes good too. The next one is the blue curled Scottish kale. Last year we grew the scarlet kale, so this year we're going to try yet another variety. Again, we never had scarlet kale. We had never had kale before last year. It wasn't bad. The smaller was definitely better, the smaller leaves. It just reminded me of broccoli, which I don't mind broccoli, so it's fine. But I want to keep trying other varieties. I can't just pick one variety and say, oh my god, it's the best kale ever, especially when it was the only kale I've tried. So we're going with the blue curled Scottish next year, next season. So I am determined to grow eggplants. Last year, my plant got stunted so bad that it didn't give me flowers until September 14th or something like that. And then, of course, the frost came like October 3rd. I had no eggplants. Sad, sad day. The eggplant I did plant in the ground was bought from a nursery, so I am going to get seeds and try to grow my own because I think that does make a difference. So I went with this long purple eggplant. I have, again, never had eggplant that I recall. Don't know how to eat it, use it, cook it. So another one of those learning curves. And that's okay because this is all knowledge that I want to shove into my brain. I want to know it all. I want to be a know-it-all. I want to learn it all as far as what I can grow. Or along with the odd plants is going to be the Romanesco Broccoli. This looks freaking amazing. It looks like something you would find off some weird alien planet. It does not resemble broccoli in the slightest, and that's okay, because that's what I like. Not that I'm saying broccoli is ugly by any means. Broccoli is a pretty awesome plant. I cannot wait to try this. I cannot wait to see it grow. I, for some reason, just have this insatiable urge to pet it. It just looks like it would be something that feels amazing. I'm totally gonna grope my broccoli before I... Never mind. So yeah, I just want to poke it. It looks awesome. And supposedly it's tasty too, so that's always a win-win. So along with a lot of those reasons, I have recently learned that I like fried asparagus. So I figure since I've now learned that I like asparagus, I should grow asparagus. I know I won't get any this spring because this is a plant that you have to wait 2 years to harvest, which is perfectly fine by me. I don't mind at all designating it in spot. I haven't told my husband that it's getting its own garden bed that he has to build. But that is utterly besides the point. Asparagus will get its own permanent spot. And I'll let you guys know in 2 years when it's ready to harvest. I don't know, I've heard mixes on it. Some say that it's really easy to grow. Some say it's really hard to grow. I don't know. So that one will be interesting to see if I can grow it. Okay, so here's the funny thing about herbs, is I don't really like to cook, and by no means do I cook on some high-skilled chef level where I use fresh garden herbs. I shake it out of a container. The only difference is I want to dry those herbs and crumble them up and stick them in my container myself, which I guess in that point is fresh garden herbs, but I'm not going out to the garden and, splitting off a nice green piece of basil and putting it fancily on a corner plate of decoration. Before, I've always been interested in herbs, and I've grown them for a long time, but I have never used them culinary. I grow them simply for their smell and the fact that the bees like the flowers so much. That was simply their only purpose for the longest time. Holy basil has been said to be immensely flavorful and really good, so I'm excited to try that. Last year, I was too late in ordering seeds, and it was sold out, so I didn't get it last year, but I am determined to be Johnny on it this year and get some. So if you watched my fall garden tour, you'll know that I said that the lime basil tastes like candy and or Fruit Loops. And that is not an exaggeration. It smells extremely good and tastes amazing. I am curious to find out if the lemon basil has the same aspect. Because, a lemon and a lime go together, right? So I'm curious, and I hope that it's accurate. It either tastes like lemons or it tastes like candy, which could taste like lemons. I don't know what it's going to taste like, and I hope it tastes good. I have high hopes for this to be amazing flavor. Back on to tomatoes is the garden peach. I am worried because it is a yellow tomato, and it's a larger yellow tomato. However, it's a matte, fuzzy tomato, and it keeps its fuzz through maturity. I am very intrigued by that. I want to sit here and pet this tomato. I have to at least try, I'm curiosity. I know it killed the cat, and when I know, I will be satisfied. What it feels like and what it tastes like, I'll be like, yeah, I know. And hopefully it's like, yeah, it's great, and not, oh my god, that is terrifying. But we'll find out. Next up on tomatoes is Tess's landrace currants. I know that the size of the tomato determines the speed in which it has to ripen. So a smaller tomato will ripen faster. So I'm kind of curious exactly what will happen with the Tess's landrace currants, since currant tomatoes are so small. And I can see from the picture that it is pretty susceptible to splitting. I'm assuming since they're tiny, they can't hold that much moisture. So I'm kind of curious. We're pretty wet up here, and I don't know if they'll do okay. But I'm going to give it a shot anyways. Again, like I said, curiosity, and I'll be satisfied when I know. Okay, so the sweetie tomato. Obviously, me and my husband like sweet tomatoes, so this one is definitely on the list to tries. And I believe next year is going to be the time to try it. So it says that you can confidently make tomato preserves without adding sugar. That's a pretty bold statement. So if that's the case, then these tomatoes are really, really sweet. And I hope that they are, because that would be amazing. So the next one is the subarctic plenty. And again, kind of like, when I was saying that I want to be able to tell people good ideas for plants to grow, or maybe someday I'll even sell seeds myself. Who knows what the future holds? But I want to know all my options in which to give advice to people. You can't give advice if you have only grown one variety of tomatoes, or one variety of anything for that matter. So I'm assuming the subarctic plenty is probably going to be one of those tomatoes. Handles cold weather like it states that it does. Tastes good. That is a requirement, unfortunately. It can't just produce a lot of crappy tomatoes. I don't know if I should experiment with this tomato and stick it out early like Mother's Day and see if it stuns. Maybe I will. I think that's what I'll do. I will grow this tomato like I had before. I will plant it out Mother's Day, see how it handles the still cold in early spring type weather. I'll have a backup in the greenhouse. And if it fails miserably, I'll plant that one out there and we'll know that it can't handle at least spring frosts. And we'll go from there. This one will be my experiment tomato. I had experiment tomatoes last year too. And it was, how much stress can I give a tomato plant before it dies? And the answer is a lot. The last thing on my list is Bull's Blood's beets. This is actually not a new one. We like them so much that I have to order more, because for some reason beet seed packs come with very little seeds. It says 100. I don't believe that I planted 100 Bull's Blood beet seeds last year. No, I know I didn't. I shared them with my mother, so she got all my beets. That's what I did. But yeah, no, I'm planning on ordering 2 packs of the Bull's Blood beets. We had planted as well as mixes last year, like mixed packets of beets. So we tried a massive variety of them. The Bull's Bloods were by far the best in as far as flavor, and I don't know what it was, but whatever flavor these beets have are really, really nostalgic. As far as I know, I've never eaten beets before, but this flavor is insanely nostalgic, and it makes me wonder if I had been slipped beets in the past in my childhood, because I remember my grandma trying to put peas in my mashed potatoes. But I don't know. I think someone forced me to eat Bull's Blood's beets as a kid. But it is really, really nostalgic. Even for my husband. He's like, what is this flavor? And we can't put our thumbs on it. But I can tell you that the Bull's Blood beet is something that will always, always grow in our garden. Get your butt off my camera cord. You're rocking the world. Thank you. Okay, so my cat tells me that I have to end this video so I can give her proper attention. So that is the plans for next year's garden. I have their locations all mapped out already. We're going to end up adding a whole nother trellis for tomatoes. I am planting 16 different types of tomatoes, some including last year's varieties that are probably forever going to be grown, which would include the black Verna sausages and the chocolate cherries and the Tommy toes. And I'll let my husband pick one of his icky things that he likes. But yeah, so this is what my garden will look like next year, give or take a few things. I've got some extra space for when the garlic gets pulled up that I don't have plans for just yet. That is my 2020 garden plans, and I hope to see you around. Anywho, I thank you all for joining. I hope you're as excited for next season as I am, because I am literally chomping at the bit. And I hope that maybe some of my future plantings have inspired you to try some new plants, some new odder sounding ones. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and till next time. Bye.